Welcome, dear friend, to a cozy moment before dreams. Tonight, we'll journey to the northern lands for a tale of creation and powerful magic. We'll meet Gefjon, one of Frigga's maidens, and witness a remarkable transformation as she shapes the very earth with her giant-born sons. Settle in as we explore the making of an island and a lake, all before drifting off to sleep. But just before we begin, if our stories help you drift off, please tap the like and subscribe buttons. In my channel, you can find Norse, Greek, and Egyptian mythology tales. Comment and tell me which myth you'd like to hear next. Your support helps us craft and shape more calm stories for fellow night owls. And now let your shoulders sink softly into the mattress and your mind drift into today's tale. In the luminous realm of Asgard, where golden light perpetually cascaded, lived Gefjon. She was a maiden of Frigga, queen of the Aesir. Gefjon moved with quiet grace. Her spirit was gentle, yet remarkably wise. Her days unfolded amidst the grandeur of Gladsheim, Odin's magnificent hall. Here, the air itself seemed to hum with ancient magic. The walls gleamed with polished gold. They reflected the soft, ethereal glow. Gefjon often strolled through the sprawling gardens of Fensalir, Frigga's own abode. Rose petals, impossibly vibrant, drifted on a gentle breeze. Their scent was sweet, almost intoxicating. Birds with iridescent feathers sang melodies of pure joy. She found contentment in this divine existence. Her laughter, soft as rustling leaves, often mingled with the playful chatter of other maidens. They wove tapestries of starlight and dreams. Their hands moved with delicate precision, yet Gefjon possessed a quiet depth. She listened more than she spoke. Her eyes, the color of a clear twilight sky, seemed to hold ancient secrets. She understood the unspoken rhythms of Asgard. Far below, in the mortal lands, a different kind of kingdom thrived. This was Svithjod, the realm of the Swedes. Its king was Gylfi, an ancient and benevolent ruler. He was known for his boundless generosity. His halls, though grand, were built of sturdy oak and stone. They echoed with the boisterous laughter of his people. Mead flowed freely. Feasts were legendary. Gylfi was a king beloved by all, but King Gylfi also harbored a playful spirit. He enjoyed riddles. He loved clever challenges. His mind was sharp, even in his advanced years. He delighted in testing the wit of his subjects. Tales of Asgard often reached his ears. Skalds, with their resonant voices, sang of the Aesir. They spoke of Odin's wisdom. They lauded Thor's strength. They praised Frigga's boundless love. Gylfi was particularly intrigued by the maidens of Asgard. He heard of their beauty. He learned of their grace. He wondered about their wisdom. Could they, too, possess the cleverness he so admired? One quiet evening, as the northern lights danced across his sky, a thought sparked in Gylfi's mind. He conceived of a challenge. It was bold, It was unprecedented. It was perfectly Gylfi. He dispatched messengers to Asgard. They were mortal, yet brave. They carried a formal invitation. It was etched on a scroll of fine birch bark. Its words were carefully chosen. The invitation reached Frigga's attention first. She read it aloud. Her voice, usually calm, held a note of amusement. The other maidens gathered closer. Their curiosity piqued. King Gylfi, the message proclaimed, offered a gift. He would grant as much land as a maiden could plow. She must do it in a single day and night. The land would then be hers. This was no small offer. Esvithjad was vast. Its fertile plains stretched for leagues. Such a gift was truly magnificent. It spoke of Gylfi's immense generosity. A ripple of murmurs spread through the maidens. Some thought it a jest. Others found it an impossible feat. Plowing land required immense strength. It was a task for giants, not maidens. But Gefjon listened intently. A flicker of interest sparked in her eyes. She considered the words. She weighed the challenge. It resonated with something deep within her. Frigga observed Gefjon. The queen knew her maidens well. She sensed Gefjon's quiet strength. She recognized her adventurous spirit. A faint smile touched Frigga's lips. Gefjon, Frigga said, her voice soft as a zephyr. Do you wish to accept this challenge? Her gaze was knowing. It held no hint of doubt. Gefjon stepped forward. Her heart beat a little faster. It was an unusual request. It was a journey into the mortal realm. It was an opportunity for something new. Yes, my queen, Gefjon replied. Her voice was clear. It held a newfound resolve. I will accept King Gylfi's challenge. She felt a strange pull. It was almost a premonition. Frigga nodded. Then you shall have my blessing. Her words were imbued with gentle power. May your journey be swift. May your efforts be true. The other maidens gasped. They had not expected this. Gefjon, the quiet one, was embarking on such an adventure. It was truly astonishing. Preparations began swiftly. Gefjon would need provisions. She would need earthly garments. She could not wear the ethereal silks of Asgard. They would draw too much attention. Frigga provided her with a cloak woven of twilight hues. It would blend with the shadows. It would protect her from the mortal elements. It was a gift of motherly care. Gefjon felt a thrill of anticipation. She was leaving the familiar. She was venturing into the unknown. It was a journey of self-discovery. She bid farewell to her fellow maidens. Their eyes held a mixture of awe and concern. Be safe, Gefjon, they whispered. Return to us soon. As Gefjon prepared to depart, a curious thought stirred within her. She would need assistance for such a task. Plowing was hard labor. It was beyond the strength of one maiden. She pondered this challenge. Gylfi's offer was simple. It did not specify asterisk how the land was to be plowed, only that it asterisk be plowed. A mischievous glint appeared in Gefjon's eyes. She had an idea. It was bold. It was unconventional. It was perfectly in line with a playful challenge. She sought out her companions. They were not maidens. They were 4 of her sons. They were born of a giant. Their father was unknown to the Aesir. These sons were strong. They were robust. They were loyal. They possessed a unique gift. They could transform. They could take on any shape. "My sons," Gefjon began, her voice low and steady, "I have accepted a challenge. King Gylfi of Esvithjod has offered land. I must plow it in a day and a night." Her sons listened intently. Their eyes, like hers, held a deep intelligence. They understood the implications. They knew the difficulty of such a task. "I will need your help," Gefjon continued. "But you must transform. You must take on a form that can aid me. A form strong enough for plowing." Her sons exchanged glances. They understood. They smiled. This was an exciting prospect. It was a chance to use their unique abilities. "We are ready, Mother," they affirmed in unison. Their voices resonated with power. "Tell us what you wish." Gefjon considered. What form would be most effective? What creatures possessed immense strength and endurance? What animals were known for their tireless work? She thought of the great oxen of the mortal realm. They were beasts of burden. They were tireless. They were powerful. They would be perfect. "You shall transform into oxen," Gefjon declared. 4 mighty oxen, strong and swift. "You will pull my plow." Her sons nodded in agreement. They began to shift. Their forms rippled. Their skin hardened. Their limbs thickened. They grew in size. Before Gefjon's eyes, her 4 sons became 4 magnificent oxen. Their hides were dark as rich earth. Their horns curved majestically. Their eyes, though bovine, still held a spark of knowing intelligence. Gefjon smiled. This was perfect. This was clever. It was within the spirit of Gylfi's challenge. She was ready. With her 4 ox sons in tow, Gefjon descended from Asgard. The Bifrost Bridge, shimmering with rainbow light, carried them down. It deposited them gently in the mortal realm. They arrived near the plains of Esvithjod. The land stretched out before them. It was vast. It was fertile. It awaited her touch. King Gylfi had already prepared a plow. It was sturdy. It was made of iron and hardened wood. It was ready for the earth. He watched from a distance. He saw the maiden arrive. She was graceful. She was composed. She brought 4 magnificent oxen. Gylfi's eyebrows rose in surprise. He had expected a lone maiden. Perhaps she would bring a small, delicate plow. He had not anticipated this. He observed Gefjon. She moved with quiet authority. She harnessed her oxen. Her movements were precise. They were efficient. The sun began its slow descent. The sky blushed with hues of orange and purple. The day was drawing to a close. Gefjon knew she had to begin. She grasped the handles of the plow. Her oxen strained. The sharp iron blade bit into the earth. A furrow appeared. The work was was arduous. The earth was stubborn, but Gefjon was determined. Her oxen, her sons, pulled with immense strength. Hour after hour, they toiled. The sun dipped below the horizon. The moon, a silver orb, rose in the inky sky. Stars glittered like scattered diamonds. Gefjon did not falter. She guided the plow. She encouraged her sons. She felt the rhythm of the earth. She became one with the task. Her oxen pulled tirelessly. Their hooves pounded the ground. Their breath plumed in the cool night air. They were truly magnificent. The furrows grew longer. They stretched across the plains. They crisscrossed the landscape. A vast area was being transformed. King Gylfi watched through the night. He could not believe his eyes. The maiden was truly remarkable, and her oxen, they were unlike any he had ever seen. He saw the determination in Gefjon's posture. He recognized the immense effort. He knew this was no ordinary maiden. As the first hint of dawn appeared, a pale light in the east, Gefjon made one final pass. The sun's first rays touched the plowed land. It was done. A vast expanse of earth lay turned. It was ready for planting. It was truly an astonishing feat. It was far more than Gylfi had ever imagined. Gefjon unharnessed her oxen. She stroked their powerful necks. "You have done well, my sons," she murmured. Her voice held deep gratitude. Her sons, still in their ox forms, nuzzled her hand. They had completed their task. They had helped their mother. King Gylfi approached. His face was a mixture of awe and wonder. He bowed his head respectfully. "Maiden," he began, his voice filled with admiration, "you have truly surpassed my expectations." He looked out at the vast, plowed land. It stretched as far as the eye could see. It was a testament to her strength. It was proof of her ingenuity. "The land is yours," Gylfi declared. His voice was firm. His promise was kept. "As much as you have plowed, it is now yours." Gefjon smiled. It was a gentle, knowing smile. She had not just plowed land. She had done something more. She had laid the groundwork for a new destiny. She had subtly hinted at a greater purpose. The ancient magic within her stirred. It was ready to awaken. The morning sun rose higher. It illuminated the newly turned earth. It revealed the vastness of Gefjon's accomplishment. This was not merely land. It was a foundation. Gefjon looked at her 4 magnificent oxen. They stood patiently beside her. They were ready for their next command. They were ready for their next transformation. She knew her journey was not yet complete. This was merely the beginning. A new chapter was unfolding. It was filled with untold possibilities. The land, now hers, held a promise. It held a future. Gefjon sensed it. She felt the ancient energies converging. She was no longer just a maiden of Asgard. She was a pioneer. She was a creator. She was a force of nature. The challenge was met. The promise was fulfilled. But the true story, the deeper magic, was just about to unfold. The cool evening breeze whispered through Asgard's halls. Gefjon stood by her window, starlight illuminating her thoughtful face. King Gylfi's challenge echoed in her mind. Plow as much land as your 4 oxen can draw. Simple, yet she knew its true weight. Gefjon, wise and far-seeing, thought not of mere oxen, but of a deeper strength. Her gaze drifted to the distant, mist-shrouded mountains. A secret nestled within those crags, a memory of a rare journey to Jotunheim, the land of giants. There, she had met a mighty and kind giant. From their union, 4 sons were born, giants like their father, immense in strength and wild in spirit, too untamed for Asgard's polished halls, yet her beloved children. She had hidden them away in a remote, shadowed valley deep within towering peaks, where they grew strong and powerful, safe from judging eyes. They learned the earth's rough rhythms, shaping stone and understanding nature's raw power. Gefjon visited them often, in secret. Now Gylfi's challenge presented itself. Her son's immense, unmatched strength could be the key. It could move mountains, reshape lands. Gefjon made her decision. She must go to them. As dawn broke, painting the sky with soft hues, she prepared for her arduous journey. The path wound through ancient forests, past shimmering rivers, climbing higher as the landscape grew wilder. Finally, she reached the hidden valley, a place of breathtaking beauty, with wildflowers and a roaring waterfall. Smoke rose from a distant hearth, a familiar sight that swelled her heart. She saw them then, her 4 colossal sons. Fafnir, quiet and wise; Gungnir, boisterous and jovial; Hrísvelg, swift and agile; Thrym, steadfast and unyielding. They were engaged in their daily tasks, Fafnir carving stone, Gungnir wrestling a tree, Hrísvelg climbing, Thrym tending fire. "My sons," Gefjon called softly. They turned, their huge forms moving with surprising grace, their faces lighting with joy. They rushed to her, their embrace tender yet powerful. "Mother," Fafnir rumbled, sensing her purpose. "What brings you to our humble dwelling?" Gungnir boomed. "Is all well in Asgard?" Hrísvelg inquired. Thrym offered a warm drink of mountain herbs. Gefjon took a sip, the warmth spreading through her. "My sons," she began, "I have come to you with a matter of great importance. King Gylfi of Sweden has challenged me, offering land, as much as 4 oxen can plow in a day and a night." A ripple of amusement passed through them. Their strength dwarfed such creatures. "But this is no ordinary challenge," Gefjon continued. "It is a test of spirit, a trial of ingenuity. And I believe your strength is the answer. I need your immense power. I need you to transform, to take the shape of mighty oxen." A collective gasp escaped them. The idea was audacious. "To become oxen, mother?" Fafnir questioned, disbelief in his voice. "Our power is for mountains, not fields." Gungnir laughed. "Imagine us pulling a plow." Hrísvelg's eyes gleamed. A transformation, a grand feat. Thrym remained silent, trusting his mother. "It is not merely about plowing a field," Gefjon clarified. "It is about claiming our place, about showing the true extent of our power. King Gylfi knows nothing of your existence, your strength. This challenge is an opportunity to subtly assert our influence, to secure a vast, fertile land for our people, for our future. She looked at them, her eyes full of love. I would not ask this lightly, but you possess the magic of your giant heritage. Your bond with the earth is profound. You can shape and move it. Fafnir, guided by his wisdom, saw the larger purpose. If it is for you, mother, he said, resolute, then we shall do it. We will become whatever you need. Gungnir grinned, a grand adventure, to fool a king, to plow a kingdom. Hrísvelg nodded eagerly. Thrym silently placed a massive hand on her shoulder. Gefjon felt a wave of relief. Thank you, my sons, she whispered. She explained the details, the time, the location, the need for secrecy. We must journey to the land before dawn unseen. Your transformation must happen there. They listened intently, their minds already at work. Fafnir spoke of overcoming Earth's resistance, Gungnir of plowing rhythm, Hrísvelg of wind aiding speed, Thrym of sustenance. They were a formidable team. You will feel the Earth's pull, Gefjon explained of the transformation's magic. Its ancient energy will flow through you. You will become one with the land. Fafnir nodded, understanding. Gungnir flexed his arms. We will plow it all. Hrísvelg moved with restless energy. They ate under the stars, the fire crackling. Gefjon watched them, her heart full. This undertaking would reshape their lives. As night deepened, she rested beside her sons, feeling protected and loved. Sleep came easily, filled with visions of vast lands and a future reshaped by giant strength. The sons, too, slept soundly, dreaming of transformation, of becoming something powerful to fulfill their mother's wish. As the first hint of dawn approached, Gefjon stirred. Her sons roused, preparing for their journey. Are you ready, my sons? She asked. Ready, mother, Fafnir rumbled. More than ready, Gungnir boomed. Let us begin, Hrísvelg said. Thrym offered his arm. Together they left the hidden valley, moving with purpose through the pre-dawn quiet. They reached the vast, wild land. The sky was still dark, a faint glow on the horizon. Now, my sons, Gefjon whispered, her voice filled with power. The time has come. They gathered close, hands touching, forming a circle of immense power. Gefjon began to chant ancient words of transformation, of earth and strength. A shimmering light enveloped them, pulsing with inner energy. The air crackled, the ground trembled. Their forms began to shift. Muscles rippled, bones reshaped, skin stretched and changed. Their immense size remained, but human features softened, faces elongated, skin became earthy brown, hair turned to thick fur. Horns sprouted, hands and feet became hooves. Their eyes, once human, became large and liquid. Their voices transformed into low bellows. The 4 giant-born sons were gone. In their place stood 4 colossal oxen. Fafnir, majestic Gungnir, powerful Hrísvelg, nimble Thrym, sturdy. Their new forms felt natural, a part of the earth. My sons, Gefjon whispered, filled with pride. You are truly wondrous. She felt the immense, raw power emanating from them, guided by their love. The first rays of sunlight touched the horizon. The new day had begun. The challenge awaited, and with it, a new destiny shaped by a mother's love and a giant's strength. My sons, Gefjon began, her voice soft. It held a gentle current of sorrow. Her eyes, usually so bright, shimmered with unshed tears. She looked at each towering figure. Her gaze lingered on their strong, familiar faces. This task, it is impossible for men. Her words hung in the air. A deep silence fell over them. The vast cavern seemed to hold its breath. Even the distant murmur of the earth quieted. Her sons exchanged glances. Confusion clouded their features. They were giants, after all. They had moved mountains before. They had diverted rivers with their bare hands. What task could truly be impossible for them? Gefjon stepped closer. Her hand reached out. She touched the rough skin of her eldest son's arm. Her touch was feather-light, yet it carried immense weight. It conveyed deep love and a profound sadness. To move such an island, she continued, her voice a hushed whisper. To pull it from the deep, deep earth, it requires strength beyond even yours. Her gaze swept over them all. Her heart ached with each word. The sons looked down at their mother. Their expressions were unreadable. They trusted her implicitly. They had always done so. Her wisdom was legendary, her love boundless. You must become something else, Gefjon stated. Her voice was firm now. It held a new resolve. The sorrow remained, yes, but purpose shone through it. A clear, unwavering purpose. A ripple of unease passed through them. Become something else. What could she mean? They were her sons. They were giants. This was their identity. Gefjon saw their apprehension. She understood it perfectly. This was no small request. It was a profound transformation. It was a journey into the unknown. This is not a punishment, she assured them. Her voice was gentle. It is a necessity, a path to success, a way to achieve the impossible. Her eyes met theirs. She sought their understanding. She sought their unwavering trust. It is for our future, she explained softly. For the land we will create, for the homes we will build, for the people who will thrive there. Her vision was clear. It was a beautiful, verdant future. She raised her hands slowly. Her fingers spread wide. A soft, golden light began to emanate from her palms. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. The air around them grew warm. It hummed with ancient energy. This was magic, old magic. It was woven into the very fabric of the world. It flowed through the veins of the earth. It sang in the stars above. Gefjon was a master of it. She was a daughter of the Aesir. Her connection to Frigga, the All-Mother, deepened. It strengthened with each passing moment. Frigga's wisdom flowed through her. Her nurturing power surrounded them. It was a comforting embrace. The primal forces of the earth responded. The The ground beneath their feet trembled softly. It pulsed with life. Ancient roots stirred deep below. The very stones seemed to sigh. Gefjon began to chant. Her voice was low. It was a melodic hum at first, then it grew stronger. It was a language older than time. It was the language of creation. It was the language of change. The golden light intensified. It swirled around her sons. It enveloped them completely. It was a cocoon of pure energy. It shimmered with untold power. The giants stood still. They did not flinch. They did not resist. Their trust in their mother was absolute. They surrendered to her magic. They surrendered to her will. Gefjon stepped forward. She touched her eldest son's forehead. Her touch was light, yet powerful. It was a conduit for the magic. It was the spark of transformation. A low groan escaped him. It was not a groan of pain. It was a sound of profound change. His enormous form began to shift. It began to shrink. The golden light pulsed faster. His skin, once rough and calloused, began to stretch. It grew taut. It darkened. It became a thick, leathery hide. It was the color of rich, dark earth. His powerful hands, the hands that had shaped mountains, began to change. His fingers fused together. His knuckles broadened. His nails hardened. They became dark, cloven hooves. His broad shoulders hunched. His neck thickened. His head elongated. His familiar face stretched and reshaped. His eyes, once so human, grew large and dark. They became pools of deep, quiet understanding. A guttural sound rumbled in his chest. It was no longer a human voice. It was a deep, resonant bellow. It echoed through the cavern. It reverberated against the stone walls. The transformation was slow. It was deliberate. It was mesmerizing to watch. Each bone shifted. Each muscle reformed. Each fiber of his being changed. His brothers watched in awe. They saw the profound change. They felt the power of the magic. A shiver ran through them. It was a mixture of fear and wonder. Gefjon moved to the next son. She repeated the touch. She whispered the incantation. The golden light embraced him. He too began to change. His form twisted and reshaped. His skin became hide. His hands became hooves. His voice became a bellow. The air was thick with the scent of magic. It was heavy with the weight of change. One by one, they transformed. Each son underwent the same profound metamorphosis. The cavern filled with the sounds of shifting bone. It filled with the low, rumbling bellows. Gefjon's face was etched with concentration. Yet, a deep sorrow remained in her eyes. This was not easy for her. This was a sacrifice. It was a necessary one, but a sacrifice nonetheless. These were her sons, her beloved children, and she was changing them. She was altering their very essence. Their humanity was slipping away. It was being replaced by something else, but she knew it was right. She felt it in her very core. This was the only way. This was the path to their shared destiny. This was the key to their future. Finally, the last sun stood transformed. Where 4 towering giants had once stood, now stood 4 magnificent oxen. They were immense creatures. Their hides were dark and glossy. Their muscles rippled under their skin. Their eyes, though no longer human, held a deep intelligence. They held a quiet trust. They looked at Gefjon. There was no resentment there, only a profound understanding. They understood her purpose. They understood the necessity. They understood their role. They were her sons still, but they were something more. They were now the instruments of creation. Gefjon reached out. She stroked the broad forehead of the first ox. Her touch was loving. It was filled with pride. "My sons," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "You are magnificent." The oxen lowered their massive heads. They nudged her gently. It was a gesture of affection. It was a silent reassurance. They were ready. They were prepared. They trusted her completely. The air around them still hummed. The golden light slowly faded. The primal energy receded. The cavern returned to its quiet stillness. Only the scent of magic lingered. Now the next task began. The colossal, enchanted plow. It was needed. It had to be strong. It had to be unyielding. It had to withstand their immense strength. Gefjon turned. Her gaze swept over the cavern. It fell upon a section of rock. It shimmered faintly. It was ancient, magical iron. It was forged in the heart of the earth. This iron was special. It was infused with the earth's raw power. It was resilient beyond measure. It was perfect for their purpose. It was destined for this moment. She raised her hands again, not for transformation this time, but for creation, for shaping, for forging. The golden light returned. It was less intense now. It was a guiding light. The rock began to glow. It softened. It became pliable. It flowed like thick, molten honey. Gefjon began to shape it. Her movements were fluid. They were precise. She formed the share first. It was the cutting edge. It had to be sharp. It had to be strong. It would cleave through the very bedrock. It would tear open the earth. Then the moldboard. It would turn the soil. It would lift the land. It would shape the new world. It had to be curved perfectly. It had to be smooth. Next, the beam. It was the backbone of the plow. It had to be immense. It had to be unyielding. It would bear the full force of their pulling. It would withstand their colossal power. She worked tirelessly. Her focus was absolute. The oxen watched her. Their large eyes followed her every move. They stood patiently. They stood ready. The air grew hot around the forming plow. It radiated intense heat. The iron glowed with an inner fire. It pulsed with latent power. Gefjon added enchantments. She wove ancient runes into its very structure. She imbued it with protective spells. She blessed it with strength. She infused it with the spirit of the earth. The plow grew in size. It became truly colossal. Its share was like a mountain peak. Its beam was like a fallen tree. It was a magnificent creation. Finally, she cooled it. She drew on the cool whispers of the underground springs. She drew on the chill breath of the deep earth. The glowing iron slowly dimmed. It hardened. It solidified. It was now a dark, formidable object. It was etched with glowing runes. It hummed with a quiet power. It was no ordinary plow. It was a tool of creation. It was an instrument of destiny. The preparation was complete. The oxen stood ready. The plow lay before them. A sense of anticipation filled the cavern. It was a palpable feeling. It was a quiet hum of expectation. The impossible task lay ahead. The daunting challenge awaited them. But Gefjon had transformed her sons. She had forged the perfect tool. They were now ready. The weight of the world seemed to rest on Gefjon's shoulders. Yet she stood tall. Her resolve was unwavering. Her purpose was clear. She had brought them to this point. She looked at her transformed sons. Her heart swelled with love. It was a different kind of love now. It was deeper. It was more profound. It encompassed their new forms. They were no longer just her sons. They were her champions. They were her instruments. They were the very embodiment of her will. They were the key to her vision. The oxen looked back at her. Their silent gaze conveyed their readiness. They were bound to her, not by force, but by love, by trust, by shared purpose. The air in the cavern crackled. It was not with magic now. It was with anticipation. The next beat was coming. The great task was imminent. The pulling would begin soon. Gefjon took a deep breath. She steeled herself. The emotional weight of the transformation settled upon her. It was a heavy cloak, but beneath it, her spirit was strong. She had made a choice, a difficult choice, a necessary choice, and she would see it through. She would guide her sons. She would create a new land. The silence in the cavern was profound. It was a silence of preparation, a silence of readiness, a silence before the storm, before the monumental effort. The ancient iron of the plow gleamed faintly. It was a testament to her power. It was a symbol of their unity. It was a promise of the future. The oxen shifted their massive weight. A soft rumble escaped them. It was a sound of quiet power. It was a sound of immense strength held in check. Gefjon walked towards the plow. Her steps were light. Her purpose was clear. The time for sorrow had passed. The time for action had arrived. She would harness them. She would guide them. Together, they would achieve the impossible. Together, they would pull the island. Together, they would shape a new world. The cavern seemed to hold its breath. The anticipation was almost unbearable. The greatest feat of strength was about to begin. The land would be moved. The future would be forged. The pre-dawn chill still clung to the air. A faint blush kissed the eastern horizon. Gefjon stood, a silhouette against the nascent light. Her 4 sons, transformed, loomed beside her. They were magnificent, enormous oxen, their hides the color of rich, dark earth. Their horns, like ancient oak branches, curved majestically. A profound stillness settled over the vast Swedish plains. King Gylfi and his people watched from a respectful distance, hushed and awestruck. They had never witnessed such a sight. Gefjon, small in comparison, held the heavy wooden plow, its iron share gleaming dully in the dim light. She gripped the handles firmly, her gaze sweeping across the endless expanse of land. This was her task, her promise. A deep breath filled her lungs, cool and crisp, carrying the scent of dew-kissed grass. Then, with a gentle command, she called to her sons. Their names, whispered softly, carried on the morning breeze. The oxen shifted, massive muscles rippling beneath their dark coats, a low rumble emanating from their throats. The first rays of the sun pierced the horizon, painting the sky in hues of rose and gold. Gefjon pressed the share into the soil. The earth groaned, a deep, resonant sound that vibrated through the ground, felt by King Gylfi in his bones. The oxen leaned into their harnesses and pulled. Slowly at first, the plow bit into the resistant earth. A fresh, earthy aroma rose into the air, the scent of creation. With each powerful step, the ground trembled. A rhythmic creak echoed across the plains, the sound of the sturdy wooden plow protesting against the immense strain. Gefjon walked steadily behind her team, bare feet finding purchase on the uneven ground. Her movements were fluid, graceful, guiding the plow with unwavering precision. Her determination was a palpable force. The sun climbed higher, warming the plains. The oxen continued their relentless work, their breath pluming like mist. Their hooves churned the earth, leaving deep imprints. A visible furrow began to form, stretching behind them like a wide, deep, impossibly straight, dark ribbon. The land seemed to part before them, obeying Gefjon's will. The rhythmic creak of the plow became a constant companion, a lullaby of labor. The earth continued to groan, a low, continuous moan speaking of immense effort and profound change. King Gylfi's people murmured among themselves, hushed voices speaking of magic, of gods, of the impossible. Their eyes were wide with wonder and trepidation. Hours passed. The sun arced across the sky, reaching its zenith. Still, Gefjon drove her team, never faltering. Her pace was steady, her resolve unshaken, her face showing no sign of fatigue. The oxen pulled with unimaginable strength, their powerful legs moving in unison. They were a force of nature, a testament to Gefjon's love and magic. The furrow grew longer, stretching for miles, a testament to their enduring effort. The sheer scale of the operation was staggering, defying mortal limits. The scent of upturned soil filled the air, rich, fertile, the smell of potential, new beginnings, a land being reborn. The tremors intensified, no longer subtle. The ground beneath their feet began to shake noticeably. Small pebbles danced. Dust rose in fine clouds, shimmering in the sunlight. King Gylfi steadied himself, gripping his advisor's arm. His expression was a mixture of awe and concern. This was more than just plowing. This was something monumental, transformative. The land began to visibly shift, slowly at first, then more pronounced. A deep, wide chasm began to form behind the plow, a gaping maw swallowing the earth. The edges of the chasm were raw, jagged, newly exposed, revealing layers of ancient rock and secrets of the earth. The chasm grew wider and deeper with each pass. The sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the plains. The sky softened to hues of orange and purple. Still, Gefjon continued her work, relentless, focused, unwavering. Her sons, the magnificent oxen, pulled onward, their movements tireless, their strength limitless. They were her instruments, her will made manifest, her devotion. The rhythmic creak of the plow continued, a song of labor, a hymn of creation. The earth groaned in response, a symphony of transformation, a chorus of change. The chasm behind them was now immense, a vast, dark scar on the landscape, stretching as far as the eye could see, a testament to the power unleashed and Gefjon's might. King Gylfi's people watched in silent wonder, mesmerized, awestruck, humbled by the spectacle. They stood rooted to the spot. Dust hung heavy in the air, shimmering with the last light of day. The pervasive scent of earth was primal, the smell of the world being reshaped. Gefjon's silhouette was etched against the fading light, a figure of immense resolve, her determination a beacon in the twilight. She was tireless, unwavering. The sun dipped below the horizon, leaving a vibrant afterglow. Stars began to appear in the deepening sky. Still, the plowing continued. The tremors became more pronounced, the ground shaking with a steady rhythm, a pulse, the heartbeat of the land, vibrating through every living thing. The chasm widened further, deepened, now a truly formidable sight, a testament to the sheer force exerted, the colossal effort, Gefjon's magic. The air grew cooler. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying the scent of newly turned earth, faint sweat, the essence of creation. Gefjon's movements remained steady, her hands firm on the plow handles, her gaze fixed ahead. She saw her vision taking shape, her promise being fulfilled, a new land. Her sons, the oxen, continued their tireless pull, magnificent in the dim light, their powerful forms silhouettes against the emerging night. They were her strength, her foundation. The rhythmic creak of the plow continued its steady beat, a constant reminder of the ongoing work, a sound of immense purpose. The earth groaned, a deep, guttural sound, the sound of a world being torn apart, being remade, of profound change. King Gylfi and his people remained, unable to tear their eyes away. They were witnesses to something extraordinary, a mythological event, the birth of a land. The stars grew brighter. The moon began to rise, its pale light illuminating the scene, casting an ethereal glow over the plains, highlighting the immense chasm and Gefjon's unwavering form. The physical effects on the landscape were undeniable. The land was transformed. The chasm was a gaping wound, a testament to the power of Gefjon and the strength of her sons. Gefjon's voice was a soft murmur as she spoke to her oxen, encouraging them, praising them. Her words were gentle, filled with love and gratitude. The oxen responded, their powerful bodies straining, continuing their relentless pull, bound by love, loyalty, and magic. The air was thick with the scent of earth, a primal aroma, the smell of creation, effort, destiny. The tremors were constant now, resonating through the ground and air, a powerful reminder of the forces at play, of immense power. The chasm continued to grow, stretching further, deepening more, a monumental feat of engineering, a colossal act of will, a testament to Gefjon's unwavering determination. King Gylfi watched, his heart pounding. He had never imagined such a sight or conceived of such power. He was humbled, awestruck, filled with wonder. The moon rose higher, bathing the plains in a silvery glow. The chasm was a dark abyss, a testament to the earth's transformation, to Gefjon's power. The rhythmic creak of the plow continued, an unending sound, the soundtrack to creation, the sound of a new world being born, of destiny unfolding. Gefjon's focus never wavered. Her eyes were fixed on the task, her mind clear, her purpose singular. She was an embodiment of resolve, a force of nature. Her sons, the oxen, were tireless, their powerful forms moving with unwavering determination, an extension of her will, a testament to their shared purpose, a marvel to behold. The earth groaned, a deep primal sound, the voice of the land, of change, of creation, of transformation. The chasm was now a colossal rift, truly immense, a sight that defied description, a testament to the sheer scale of the operation, to Gefjon's power. King Gylfi's people huddled together, watching in silent awe. They felt the tremors, smelled the earth, witnessed the impossible, forever changed by the experience. The night deepened. The stars shone brightly. The moon cast its pale light. The rhythmic creak of the plow continued, a constant, steady sound, the sound of a sacred task. Gefjon's breath plumed in the cool night air. She felt no fatigue, only purpose. Her commitment was absolute, her resolve unyielding, her goal within reach. Her sons, the oxen, continued their tireless work, their powerful bodies moving with steady grace. They were magnificent, unwavering, truly a divine force. The chasm stretched into the darkness, a vast, dark expanse, a testament to the land's transformation, Gefjon's enduring strength, her magic. The earth continued to groan. A deep, resonant sound, the voice of the world being reshaped, of a new beginning, of destiny. King Gylfi remained transfixed, watching Gefjon, her sons, the chasm grow. He was a witness to an act of creation, to the impossible. The hours passed into the deep of night. The rhythmic creak of the plow was the only sound, a constant reminder, a testament to the ongoing labor, a lullaby of creation. Gefjon's determination never wavered. Her focus was absolute, her will unyielding. She was a force of nature, an embodiment of purpose, a vision of resolve. Her sons, the oxen, pulled with unwavering strength, their powerful forms moving in unison. They were tireless, magnificent, her instruments, her devotion. The chasm was truly colossal now, a vast, dark abyss, a testament to the sheer scale of the transformation. Gefjon's immense power, her magic. The earth continued to groan. A deep, guttural sound, the voice of the land being born anew, of profound change, of destiny unfolding. King Gylfi and his people watched, silent, awestruck. They felt the tremors, smelled the earth, witnessed a miracle, the birth of a land. The moon began its slow descent. The stars still twinkled. The rhythmic creak of the plow continued, a constant, steady sound, the sound of creation, of a new world. Gefjon's silhouette was still etched against the night sky. She was tireless, unwavering. Her resolve was absolute, her purpose clear. She was a true force of creation. Her sons, the oxen, moved with unwavering power. Their forms were magnificent, tireless. They were her strength, her will made manifest, her devotion. The chasm was immense, a vast, dark scar, stretching for an unimaginable distance, a testament to Gefjon's power, her magic, her enduring will. The earth groaned, a deep, primal sound, the voice of the world being reshaped, of a new beginning, of destiny unfolding. King Gylfi watched, his heart full. He had witnessed a miracle, seen the impossible, seen a land born, a goddess at work, the power of love. The first hint of dawn appeared. A faint blush kissed the eastern horizon. The rhythmic creak of the plow continued. It had been an entire day, and still the work went on. The land was transformed. The chasm was immense. The new world was taking shape. The last sliver of sun dipped below the horizon. Twilight deepened, the air grew cool. Still, the plowing continued, unwavering. Gefjon watched, her gaze steady. Her sons, those magnificent oxen, pulled with tireless might. Their hooves churned the dark soil. The earth groaned under their relentless passage. A faint shimmer clung to their powerful forms. It was the magic, still at work. The moon began its slow ascent. It was a pale, watchful eye in the darkening sky. Its soft light painted long, shifting shadows. They stretched across the scarred land. The oxen's eyes, once human, now glowed. A faint, golden light emanated from them. It was a beacon in the growing gloom. They moved with a steady, rhythmic grace. Gefjon felt weariness seep into her bones. The long day, the intense focus, had taken its toll. Yet, a deeper strength stirred within her. It was the strength of purpose. Her sons, transformed, labored for her. Their unwavering effort fueled her resolve. She drew deeply from that wellspring. Her vision for the land sustained her. The vast, circular piece of land became clearer. It was slowly, steadily separating. A deep trench now carved its perimeter. It was a testament to their toil. The air hummed with subtle magic. It vibrated with the oxen's power. The night creatures began their chorus. Their calls echoed softly in the distance. A low, tearing sound filled the air. It was the earth yielding to the plow. The heavy breathing of the oxen joined it, a steady, rhythmic counterpoint. The land they were cutting away was immense. It was a grand, sweeping arc of earth. It began to shift, almost imperceptibly. A slow, gentle detachment. Gefjon knew this was a sacred task. It was a gift for the gods, for Odin. It was a new home, a fertile beginning. Her heart swelled with quiet pride. The stars began to pepper the sky. They were tiny, distant pinpricks of light. They bore witness to this nightly toil, this extraordinary act of creation. The oxen did not falter. Their massive shoulders strained against the yokes. The plowshare bit deeply into the soil. It carved a perfect, enduring line. Gefjon walked beside them. Her steps were even, her presence calming. She murmured words of encouragement, soft, melodic whispers into the night. The ground vibrated beneath her feet. It was the land responding to their will. It was the earth preparing for its journey, a journey across the vast waters. The scent of upturned earth filled her nostrils. It was rich, dark, and primal. It was the smell of creation, of beginnings. A potent, earthy perfume. The sounds of the night were a symphony. The tearing earth, a deep bass note. The oxen's breath, a rhythmic drum. The distant calls, a haunting melody. The moon climbed higher, brighter. Its light illuminated the scene. It cast an ethereal glow over the field, a silver sheen on the dark soil. The land was now almost an island. It was connected by only a few threads. They were weakening, fraying with each pass. The moment of separation drew near. Gefjon felt a surge of anticipation. A quiet excitement bubbled within her. The long night was nearing its climax, the completion of her arduous task. Her sons worked in perfect unison. Their movements were seamless, synchronized. They were extensions of her own will, powerful, unwavering extensions. The magic that pulsed around them was visible. It was a faint, shimmering aura. It enveloped the oxen, the plow, the land. A silent, potent force. the night air grew cooler still. A gentle breeze rustled through the tall grass. It carried the scent of distant forests, a wild, untamed fragrance. Gefjon remembered her promise, a promise to Odin, the Allfather, a promise of a new land, fertile and strong, a promise she was now fulfilling. The land had a gentle curve. It was a perfect, circular shape. It was destined for the sea, for a new home, a home for future generations. The oxen's golden eyes glowed steadily. They were beacons of tireless devotion. They were her sons, transformed by her magic. Loyal, powerful, and true. The sounds of their labor filled the quiet. The rhythmic scrape of metal on earth, the steady thud of hooves, the deep, rumbling breath of giants. Gefjon's heart swelled with gratitude. Her sons had answered her call. They had embraced their new forms. They had worked without complaint. The moon cast sharp, defined shadows. They danced and swayed with each pass. The plowed furrows looked like dark ribbons, unfurling across the vast expanse. The separation was almost complete. A thin, fragile connection remained. It was holding the land in place for just a few more precious moments. The air grew heavy with magic. It crackled with latent energy. The transformation was nearing its end. The land's journey was about to begin. Gefjon stood tall, unyielding. Her posture was one of quiet determination. She was the architect of this new world, the mother of this burgeoning land. The oxen paused for a fleeting moment. Their breathing was deep and even. Then, with a renewed surge of power, they pulled. The final, decisive pull. A soft, tearing sound echoed. It was distinct, unmistakable. The last threads snapped, one by one. The land was finally free. It began to move. Slowly, gently, it detached. It shifted from the mainland, a vast, dark island in the moonlight. Gefjon watched, her breath held. The land began its slow drift. It was a silent, majestic departure. A new world set adrift. The oxen stood still, their task complete. Their golden eyes still glowed. They had done their part, magnificently. Their toil was finished. The night air grew still around them. The sounds of tearing earth had ceased. Only the distant calls of night creatures remained. A soft, nocturnal chorus. The land floated like a dark ship. It was heading towards the distant sea, a testament to Gefjon's magic, a gift to the gods, now complete. Gefjon felt a profound sense of peace. Her great task was accomplished. Her sons had been instrumental. They had brought her vision to life. The moon shone down, a silver disk. It illuminated the drifting land. It cast a gentle glow on Gefjon and her sons. A silent, blessed moment. The air was clean, crisp. The scent of fresh earth still lingered. It was a reminder of their labor. A sweet, satisfying aroma. Gefjon reached out a hand. She touched the broad flank of an ox. Its coat was warm, surprisingly soft. A silent thank you, deeply felt. The oxen nudged her gently. Their large heads rested against her. A gesture of affection, of shared triumph. A bond forged in toil. The land was a dark silhouette. It receded slowly into the distance. It was moving towards its destined place. A new home, a new beginning. Gefjon's weariness was still present. Yet, it was a satisfying exhaustion. The kind that comes after great effort. The kind that brings true rest. She looked at her sons, truly looked. They were still oxen, powerful and grand, but their eyes held a deeper wisdom. The wisdom of shared purpose. The journey was not yet over. The land still needed to be placed. But the hardest part was done. The separation was complete. The night unfolded around them. Quiet, serene, and full of wonder. The stars twinkled, countless and bright, bearing witness to their achievement. Gefjon smiled, a soft, weary smile. Her heart was full. She had given her all, and the gods would be pleased. The new land, now a true island, turned. It began to orient itself towards the vast, waiting ocean, its new, eternal home. The moon's light shimmered on its surface. It was a dark, fertile expanse, ready to receive the seeds of life, ready to flourish anew. Gefjon closed her eyes for a moment. She took a deep, cleansing breath. The magic within her hummed softly, a gentle, lingering echo. Her sons stood beside her, steadfast. Their presence was a comfort. They were her strength, her unwavering support, her beloved, transformed kin. The sounds of the night were soothing. The hoot of an owl, a distant call, the rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze, a lullaby for the weary. The land was a fading shadow. It was almost beyond sight, a testament to Gefjon's power, a legend in the making. She opened her eyes again. The world stretched before her, full of possibility, full of promise. A new dawn awaited them. The great work was done. The land was free. It was time for the next step, to guide it to its final resting place. But for now, there was only the night, the quiet aftermath of creation, the satisfaction of a task well done, the promise of rest. Gefjon stood bathed in moonlight. Her sons stood beside her. The newly formed island drifted away. A silent, majestic spectacle. The world seemed to hold its breath, witnessing this profound act, the birth of a new land, the power of a goddess's will. The night deepened, grew still. A sense of calm descended. The air was cool, refreshing, a gentle balm after their toil. Gefjon felt the magic within her ebb. It was a gentle, slow retreat. The energy expended, the power released. A quiet, satisfying depletion. Her sons, too, seemed to relax, their powerful bodies less taut. The golden glow in their eyes softened. A quiet acceptance of their new forms. The land became a faint speck, disappearing into the vast darkness. Its destination, the waiting sea, its future a fertile haven. Gefjon smiled, a small, knowing smile. The gods would be pleased. Odin would honor his promise. A new realm would be born. The night was almost complete. The stars began to dim slightly. The first hint of dawn was on the horizon. A new day, a new chapter. Gefjon turned her gaze towards the east, towards the promise of the coming sun, towards the next phase of her journey, the placement of the land. But for now, there was only the peace, the quiet triumph of the night, the lingering magic in the air, the deep, abiding love for her sons. The great work was done. The land was free. It was time for rest, before the dawn and the next final task. The moon began its slow descent. Its light softened, grew pale. The night was drawing to a close. A magical, transformative night. Gefjon closed her eyes once more. A vision of the new land formed. Fertile, vibrant, teeming with life. A gift to the gods from her. Her sons breathed deeply beside her. Their presence a steady comfort. Their quiet strength, her unwavering support. Her heart was full. The world slept around them. Unaware of the night's grand events. Unaware of the land now adrift. Unaware of Gefjon's powerful magic. But Gefjon knew, and her sons knew. The night was theirs. The triumph was theirs. The new land, their creation. The last wisps of magic faded. The air grew still, ordinary. Only the memory lingered. The quiet hum of power. Gefjon stood, a solitary figure, bathed in the dying moonlight. Her task complete, her purpose fulfilled. A goddess, powerful and serene. The night was truly quiet now. The sounds of toil had ceased. Only the whisper of the breeze remained. A gentle, nocturnal murmur. The land was gone, beyond sight, beyond touch. Yet its presence was felt, a powerful, lingering echo in the air. Gefjon felt a profound peace, a deep, abiding satisfaction, the kind that settles in the soul. After a great work is done, the night air hung heavy still. A hush had fallen. Even the restless waves seemed to pause. Gefjon's sons, those mighty oxen, strained with all their colossal might. Their breath plumed, it misted the cool, pre-dawn air. Muscles bunched and coiled taut ropes beneath their hides. They dug their hooves deeper. The earth groaned in protest. Gefjon stood, resolute and watchful. Her eyes, usually so bright, were shadowed. They reflected the immense effort. They mirrored the nearing dawn. A low, guttural rumble began. It vibrated through the very ground. It hummed in the air. It resonated in her bones. This was the earth responding. It was the land preparing. The colossal landmass quivered. It had been resisting. It had clung stubbornly. But the oxen's pull was relentless. It was an ancient, primal force. Their power was immense, almost unthinkable. The ground beneath them began to shift. It cracked, it groaned, it moaned. A tremor ran through the entire landscape. It was not a gentle tremor. This was a profound, deep shudder. It rippled outwards. It shook the distant trees. King Gylfi's people gasped. They clutched at each other. Fear mingled with a strange, breathless awe. They had never witnessed such power. They had never seen the earth move thus. The deep rumble intensified. It rose to a crescendo. It became a roar, the sound of creation itself. The ground split open. A chasm yawned wide. Dust billowed upwards. It obscured the fading stars. The air filled with the scent of raw earth. It smelled of broken rock. It smelled of deep, dark soil. Then, with an agonizingly slow majesty, the landmass began to move. It slid, a massive, silent leviathan. It separated from the mainland. The connection was severed. The bond was broken. A deep, tearing sound echoed. It was the sound of earth rending. It was the sound of a world reshaping. The immense piece of land, now freed, began its journey. It moved towards the sea. It was a slow, deliberate procession. Each inch gained was a testament. It was a testament to Gefjon's will. It was a testament to her son's strength. The earth groaned in its wake. It left a gaping wound behind. That gaping wound was vast. It was incredibly deep. It stretched for miles inland. The sky, still dark, seemed to lean into it. It was a hungry void. It waited to be filled. As the landmass slid away, water began to seep in. It trickled at first, then it flowed. The trickling became a stream. The stream became a river. The river became a torrent. Water rushed into the chasm. It filled the immense cavity. It surged and swirled. It churned with purpose. This was a new lake forming. It was a birth of water. This was Lake Meller taking shape. Its waters, dark and deep, expanded. They sought their boundaries. They found their edges. The lake spread out. It reflected the dim light. It was a mirror to the heavens. It was a new jewel in the land. The landmass continued its slow, majestic slide. It headed for the open waters. Gefjon watched, her heart pounding. Her face was streaked with dirt. Her hair was wild, it was disheveled. But her eyes shone with fierce triumph. She had done it. She had moved the earth. She had reshaped the world. She had fulfilled her quest. The colossal piece of land finally reached the sea. It dipped, it bobbed, it settled. It found its resting place. The water embraced it. The waves cradled it. It floated there, serene and vast. This was the island of Sealand. This was Esyaland, born anew. King Gylfi and his people stood transfixed. Their mouths were agape. Their eyes were wide with disbelief. They had witnessed a miracle. They had seen creation firsthand. The world was utterly transformed. It was a landscape they no longer knew. The sun began its slow ascent. Its first rays touched the horizon. They painted the sky with soft hues. Golds and pinks bled across the canvas. The light spread. It bathed the scene. It revealed the new world in all its glory. Lake Meller shimmered. Its vast surface reflected the dawn. Islands dotted its expanse. They were remnants of the old land. They were witnesses to the change. The new island, Sealand, lay peaceful. It floated on the calm waters. Gefjon stood upon her new island. She was exhausted. Her body ached, her limbs trembled. But a profound sense of peace settled over her. She had achieved her purpose. She had created a home. This was her legacy. This was her gift. Her sons, the mighty oxen, stood beside her. Their breathing was heavy. Their massive chests heaved. They too were weary, but a quiet pride radiated from them. They had served their mother well. They had moved mountains, literally. King Gylfi slowly approached the water's edge. He stared across the expanse. He looked at the vast lake. He looked at the distant island. His mind struggled to comprehend. The land he knew was gone. A new land had emerged. "It is magnificent," he whispered. His voice was hoarse. It was filled with wonder. His people murmured in agreement. A wave of awe washed over them. Their fear had subsided. It was replaced by reverence. Gefjon raised her arm. She gestured towards the new island. "This is Sealand," she announced. Her voice was clear. It carried across the water. A new land, a new beginning. Her words hung in the air. They resonated with power. The sun climbed higher. Its warmth touched their faces. It dried the dew from the grass. It illuminated the new landscape. The air was crisp and clean. It carried the scent of fresh water. It carried the scent of new earth. Gylfi looked at Gefjon. He saw not just a goddess. He saw a creator. He saw a force of nature. His respect for her deepened. It was a profound admiration. He bowed his head low. His people followed suit. "You have given us a world," Gylfi said. His voice was filled with gratitude. "A world reborn." He looked at his people. Their faces were alight. They too felt the shift. They felt the wonder of it all. The new Lake Meller stretched inland. Its waters were calm now. They reflected the blue sky. Small ripples disturbed its surface. Fish were already darting. Birds were already circling. Life was returning. It was embracing the change. On the distant shores of Sealand, trees stood tall. They were ancient trees. They had survived the journey. Their roots held firm. They welcomed the new dawn. New life would flourish here. A new civilization would rise. Gefjon smiled, a slow, tired smile. Her task was complete. Her journey was over. She had brought forth a new land. She had fulfilled her promise. The prophecy had been realized. The land had been transformed. The oxen lay down beside her. They rested their massive heads. Their eyes, deep and knowing, looked at her. They were her faithful companions. They were her mighty instruments. Together, they had achieved the impossible. The morning light grew stronger. It washed over the scene. It bathed the new island. It illuminated the vast lake. It revealed the transformed coastline. Sweden was forever changed. Its heart held a new lake. Its western edge held a new island. King Gylfi watched the sun rise fully. He saw the world anew. He felt a profound shift. His kingdom had been altered, but it was not diminished. It was enriched. It was expanded. He knew this day would be remembered. He knew stories would be told. They would speak of Gefjon. They would speak of her sons. They would speak of the land's birth. They would speak of Lake Meller. They would speak of Sealand. These tales would echo. They would last for ages. Gefjon closed her eyes briefly. She felt the gentle breeze. It caressed her face. It carried the scent of the sea. It carried the promise of dawn. Her work was complete, her purpose fulfilled. She had brought forth a new world. The sound of the waves lapped gently. It was a soothing rhythm. It was a lullaby of creation. The earth had settled. The waters had found their peace. The island rested serenely. A new day had truly dawned. Gylfi turned to his people. He saw their faces. They were still awestruck, but a new emotion was stirring. It was hope. It was excitement. They had witnessed a miracle. They had seen the hand of a goddess. "We must honor her," Gylfi declared. His voice was firm now. "We must remember this day." His people nodded in agreement. They would build monuments. They would sing songs. They would tell the tale. Gefjon opened her eyes. She looked at the rising sun. Its warmth was a blessing. Its light was a comfort. She felt the earth beneath her. It was solid. It was new. This was her home now. This was Sealand. The oxen stirred slightly. They shifted their weight. They were still tired, but their breathing was even. They too felt the peace. Their immense task was done. They had moved the world. They had shaped the land. The air hummed with new energy. It was a quiet hum. It was the hum of life. It was the hum of possibility. The world had been reshaped. It was ready for new stories. It was ready for new beginnings. Gefjon stood tall. Her silhouette was framed. It was framed by the rising sun. She was a figure of power. She was a figure of grace. She was a goddess of creation. She was the mother of Sealand. The calm waters of Lake Meller stretched. They reflected the sky. They reflected the new day. They were a testament. They were a legacy. They were the heart of Sweden. They were born of power. The island of Sealand lay peaceful. It floated upon the waves. It was a new land. It was a promise. It was a home. It was the culmination. It was the triumph. It was Gefjon's gift. King Gylfi watched her. He saw her quiet strength. He saw her unwavering resolve. He knew he had been blessed. He had witnessed greatness. He had seen the world made new. His people would thrive. The sun climbed higher. Its golden light spread. It touched every corner. It warmed the new land. It warmed the new lake. It warmed the hearts of all. A new era had begun. A new world had been born. Gefjon smiled again. A true smile this time. It reached her eyes. It spoke of deep contentment. Her work was done. Her purpose found. The land was made. The island settled. All was well. The great task was complete. Gefjon felt the earth settle beneath her. she guided her weary oxen now. Their mighty hooves trod softly. They moved towards a quiet, secluded part of the newly formed island. The air here was calm. A gentle breeze whispered through nascent trees. The water lapped peacefully on the shore. The oxen breathed deeply. Their flanks still heaved. They had pulled an entire landmass. This was no small feat. Gefjon smiled, a tender, loving expression. Her heart swelled with pride. Her sons, in this humble form, had achieved the impossible. Their strength was boundless, their loyalty unwavering. She found a wide, grassy clearing. It was sheltered by ancient oaks. Sunlight dappled through their leaves. It painted shifting patterns on the ground. A small stream gurgled nearby. Its water was clear and cool. This was the perfect spot. Here, the magic would unfold. Gefjon dismounted slowly. Her movements were graceful. She walked among her bovine sons. She stroked their broad foreheads. Their fur felt warm and soft. She whispered words of comfort. "Rest now, my brave ones," she murmured. Her voice was like a lullaby. "Your great labor is done." A hush fell over the clearing. Even the birds grew silent. Gefjon raised her hands. Her palms faced the sky. A soft, golden light began to emanate from her. It shimmered gently. The light grew brighter. It enveloped the 4 colossal oxen. The transformation began. It was a slow, deliberate process. The oxen's forms blurred. Their outlines softened. Their massive bodies shimmered. The golden light intensified. It swirled around them. It pulsed with ancient magic. Their thick hides began to recede. Muscle and bone shifted. The powerful legs shortened. They widened into human-like limbs. The broad muzzles transformed. They reshaped into strong, noble faces. Horns dissolved into thick, dark hair. Their eyes, once bovine and deep, now sparkled with human understanding. A collective sigh filled the air. It was a sound of relief. It was a sound of release. The light faded gradually. In its place stood 4 magnificent giants. They were her sons. They were tired, yes, but their faces held deep contentment. Their eyes met Gefjon's. They were filled with love. They were still immense. Their height was towering, but their forms were now human. They wore simple tunics. These had appeared with the transformation. Their bodies were strong. They were sculpted by their recent labor. Exhaustion etched lines on their faces. Yet, a profound peace settled upon them. Gefjon rushed forward. She embraced each son in turn. Her arms encircled their mighty frames. She held them close. Tears welled in her eyes. These were tears of joy. These were tears of relief. "My sons," she whispered. Her voice was thick with emotion. "My brave, wonderful sons." They returned her embrace. Their arms were strong. They lifted her gently. They held her like a precious jewel. Their rough hands caressed her hair. Their deep voices rumbled. "Mother," they murmured. "We did it, Mother." Their faces beamed. They were filled with pride. They looked at each other. A silent understanding passed between them. They had accomplished something extraordinary. They had moved a piece of the world. They had created a new land. The eldest, Starkad, knelt before her. His eyes were bright. "We are so proud of you, Mother," he said. His voice was deep. It resonated with sincerity. "You are truly magnificent." Gerard II added, "Your wisdom guided us. Your love sustained us." He smiled warmly. "We would follow you anywhere." The third, Gefjon, nodded in agreement. The task was arduous, but knowing it was for you, it made it light. And the youngest, Gylfi, simply hugged her tighter. He buried his face in her shoulder. His gratitude was palpable. He had been so young. He had been so small. Now he was a giant. He was a hero. Gefjon stroked his hair. "My precious ones," she said softly, "you are the true heroes. Your strength, your perseverance, it is astounding." She looked at each of them. Her gaze was filled with adoration. "You have made me the proudest mother." They sat together for a long while. They rested in the quiet clearing. The sun began its slow descent. It cast long shadows. The air grew cooler. They shared stories. They spoke of the immense effort. They described the feel of the earth. They spoke of the vast ocean. They laughed softly. They remembered moments of struggle. They recalled moments of triumph. The bond between them was unbreakable. It had been forged in labor. It had been strengthened by love. It was a testament to family. Gefjon stood finally. Her eyes sparkled with purpose. "Now, my sons," she announced. Her voice was clear. It held newfound authority. "Our work here is not finished. We have created this land. Now we must nurture it." Her sons rose with her. Their expressions were attentive. They knew her spirit. They understood her vision. Gefjon looked out over the sprawling landscape. This was Sealand. This was their creation. It was beautiful. It was fertile. It was full of promise. She envisioned its future. She saw thriving communities. She saw fields of golden grain. She saw bustling markets. She saw children playing. She saw wisdom flourishing. This island would be a beacon. It would be a testament to peace. This was her destiny. She had fulfilled her challenge. The All-Father had tasked her. She had been tested. She had proven her worth. Now she would rule Sealand. She would guide its people. She would teach them agriculture. She would impart her wisdom. Her knowledge was vast. It spanned ages. It encompassed the earth. It touched the heavens. She knew the secrets of the soil. She understood the rhythms of nature. She possessed the gift of foresight. She would share all of this. Word of Gefjon's feat had spread. It traveled across the lands. It reached the ears of King Gylfi. He was the king of Sweden. He had watched the impossible unfold. He had seen the land torn away. He had witnessed its journey. He was humbled. He was profoundly impressed. He had underestimated her. He had doubted her power. His initial challenge had been a jest. It had been a light-hearted dare, but Gefjon had taken it seriously. She had transformed his kingdom. King Gylfi arrived at Sealand's shores. He came not with an army. He came not with demands. He came with a small retinue. His demeanor was respectful. His posture was deferential. He sought Gefjon out. He wished to pay homage. He found her standing on a high bluff. Her sons stood behind her. They were like towering sentinels. The setting sun cast a golden glow. It illuminated her regal form. She seemed to embody the island itself. She was majestic. She was powerful. King Gylfi approached cautiously. He bowed deeply. His voice, usually booming, was soft. It was filled with awe. "Lady Gefjon," he began. His words were sincere. "I come before you. I offer my deepest apologies." Gefjon regarded him calmly. Her expression was serene. She had no anger. She held no resentment. She understood human folly. She knew the nature of kings. "There is no need for apologies, King Gylfi," she replied. Her voice was clear. It resonated with authority. "Your challenge brought forth greatness. It led to this new land." She gestured to the island around them. "For that, I thank you." King Gylfi straightened. He looked out at the fertile land. It stretched to the horizon. It was a verdant paradise. "This land is magnificent," he said. His voice was filled with wonder. "It is a testament to your power. It is a testament to your will." He continued, "I acknowledge your strength. I acknowledge your generosity. You have taken a part of my kingdom. Yet, you have created something more. You have blessed the world with this island." He extended his hand. It was an offer of peace. It was a gesture of alliance. "I wish to bind my kingdom to yours. Let there be friendship. Let there be cooperation. Let our peoples thrive together." Gefjon took his hand. Her grip was firm. "It shall be so, King Gylfi," she affirmed. A gentle smile touched her lips. "Let our kingdoms prosper. Let peace reign between us." And so, an alliance was forged. It was born of respect. It was solidified by wonder. King Gylfi returned to Sweden. He spread tales of Gefjon's magic. He spoke of the wondrous island. He spoke of its wise ruler. Sealand began to flourish. Under Gefjon's benevolent rule, it thrived. She taught the people the secrets of the earth. She showed them how to cultivate the land. They learned to plant seeds. They learned to harvest crops. The fields yielded bountiful harvests. Orchards bore sweet fruits. The rivers teemed with fish. The forests provided timber. The island became a hub of prosperity. Its people lived in harmony. They respected the land. They honored their ruler. Gefjon established laws. They were just and fair. She held court under the great oaks. She listened to her people. She offered guidance. She resolved disputes. Her wisdom was legendary. Her compassion was boundless. Her sons, now giants in their true forms, helped her. They were her protectors. They were her advisors. They helped build great halls. They helped clear new land. Their strength was a blessing. Their loyalty a cornerstone. They taught the people the ways of strength. They showed them how to build. They shared their knowledge of the earth. They were beloved by all. They were heroes in their own right. The island's fame grew. Settlers came from afar. They sought new beginnings. They desired a life of peace. Sealand became a melting pot. Cultures blended. Knowledge was shared. It was a harmonious society. Gefjon often walked among her people. She listened to their laughter. She saw their contented faces. Her heart swelled with satisfaction. This was her legacy. This was her creation. It was a testament to her strength. It was a testament to her wisdom. And above all, it was a testament to a mother's love. It was the love that had driven her. It was the love that had transformed her sons. It was the love that had moved mountains. It had shaped a new world. The sun set over Sealand. Its golden rays painted the sky. They cast a warm glow. The island hummed with life. It was a peaceful sound. It was a contented sound. Gefjon stood on the bluff once more. Her sons stood beside her. They watched the stars appear. They twinkled like scattered diamonds. The air was cool and crisp. The scent of blooming flowers filled the night. This was their home. This was their triumph. The island was alive. It breathed with purpose. It pulsed with energy. It was a vibrant tapestry. It was woven with dreams. It was embroidered with hope. It was a living monument. It was a testament to the impossible. Gefjon knew her journey was long from over. There would be new challenges. There would be new lessons. But tonight, she rested. Tonight, she celebrated. Tonight, she simply was. She was Gefjon. She was the mother. She was the ruler. She was the creator. The gentle lapping of the waves lulled her. The soft murmur of her sons' voices soothed her. The peace of the island enveloped her. She closed her eyes. A deep sense of contentment settled within her. The world slept around her. She was a part of its slumber. She was a part of its dream. The morning sun, gentle and warm, kissed the newly formed land. Its light shimmered on Lake Meller's vast surface, a mirror reflecting the nascent sky. Wisps of morning mist, like ethereal veils, clung to the distant tree lines, promising a day of clear, crisp air. Gefjon watched from the shore, her heart swelling with a quiet, profound pride that resonated deep within her ancient bones. Her oxen, now resting, breathed deeply, their massive chests rising and falling in rhythmic peace. Their flanks, still caked with traces of the damp, rich earth, gleamed faintly in the growing light. They had worked tirelessly through the long, star-dusted night, their hooves churning the very bedrock, their immense strength carving out a new world. The land before her, Sealand, was not just a testament to their strength, but to her unwavering will, a living, breathing monument to a promise kept. This land, Sealand, lay green and fertile, a verdant jewel newly plucked from the depths of the sea. Forests, thick with ancient, gnarled oaks and soaring pines, stretched towards the distant horizons, their dark silhouettes softened by the morning haze. Rivers, newly born and sparkling like threads of liquid silver, carved intricate paths across the landscape, their fresh waters gurgling and whispering secrets as they rushed towards the waiting embrace of the sea. The air, cool and invigorating, smelled not just of damp earth and fresh pine, but also of budding wildflowers and the clean mineral scent of newly exposed stone. Birds, newly awakened from their nocturnal slumber, sang their morning songs with unrestrained joy, their melodies, a symphony of chirps and trills, filling the quiet air with vibrant life. A gentle breeze, carrying the faint scent of distant salt, rustled through the nascent leaves, a soft, welcoming whisper. Her sons, the oxen, transformed. Where once hulking beasts of burden stood, now stood 7 strong young men, their forms imbued with a primal grace. Their skin, tanned and smooth, held the warmth of the earth, and their eyes, deep pools of amber and moss green, held the ancient wisdom of the earth itself, a knowledge gleaned from eons of quiet observation. Their shoulders were broad, their limbs powerful, but their hands, though capable of immense strength, were gentle. They were protectors now, their very essence intertwined with the island they had helped birth. They would guard this island, not with weapons, but with their presence, their understanding. They would watch over its creatures, from the smallest beetle burrowing in the soil to the largest deer grazing in the meadows. They would nurture its growing beauty, guiding its natural rhythms with a benevolent touch. Gefjon knew her work here was done, at least in its physical manifestation. Her heart, though, held a sweet sorrow, a poignant ache for what she must leave behind. She longed to stay, to witness the unfolding tapestry of life on Sealand, to watch her sons grow into their new roles, to see the island flourish under their gentle stewardship. The scent of the damp earth, the sound of the new rivers, the very feel of the nascent land beneath her feet tugged at her, a silent plea to remain. Yet Asgard called to her, a resonant hum echoing through the realms. Frigga, her wise and beloved sister, awaited her return, and the other goddesses, eager for news of her daring feat, sought her counsel and her unique perspective. She knelt then, embracing each of her sons in turn, her arms encircling their strong, comforting forms. Their embrace was a sanctuary, warm and solid, holding her close to the heart of the earth itself. "My brave ones," she whispered, her voice soft, like the rustling leaves of a newly awakened birch, barely audible above the gentle lapping of the lake. "You are the spirit of this land, its very soul made manifest." Her fingers, calloused from the earth, gently traced the contours of their faces, a silent blessing. "Guard it well, my dearest boys. Guard its silence, its vibrancy, its raw, untamed beauty." Her eldest son, his voice deep and resonant, like the ancient roots of a spreading tree, replied, "Mother, we will." His gaze, steady and unwavering, swept across the entire island, taking in every emergent detail, every new form. "This is our home now, our purpose, our very being." A gentle, knowing smile, one that held both the innocence of youth and the ancient wisdom of the earth, touched his lips. "We will honor your gift, the immense sacrifice you made for this land." His brothers, their eyes bright with shared purpose, nodded in solemn agreement. Their shoulders squared, their forms tall and resolute, like young saplings reaching for the sun. Gefjon stepped back, a deep, contented sigh escaping her lips. She looked at them one last time, imprinting their image upon her memory. They embodied the strength of the earth, its unyielding power, yet also its gentle nurturing. They had the resilience of the ancient stones, weathered by time but never broken. As she watched, a warm, golden glow, subtle as a whisper yet undeniably present, surrounded them, a blessing from the land itself, a visible manifestation of their unbreakable bond. She turned towards the shimmering path, a ribbon of light that seemed to unfurl from the very air, leading back to Asgard. Her footsteps were light, almost ethereal, as if she barely touched the ground. Yet, each one carried a memory, a precious fragment of her time on Sealand. The feel of the damp, cool earth beneath her feet, the primal connection she had forged, the sound of the wind in the newly formed trees, a chorus of creation, the deep, rumbling laughter of her sons, a sound that would echo in her heart for eternity. She paused at the edge of the light, glancing back one last time. Her sons stood on the shore, their forms silhouetted against the rising sun, their presence a silent promise, a guardian watch over the land. In Asgard, a warm and joyous welcome awaited her. The golden gates of Valhalla gleamed, and the air hummed with anticipation. Frigga, queen of the Aesir, her eyes sparkling with affection, embraced her sister with a strength that belied her gentle demeanor. "Gefjon, you have returned." Her voice, filled with profound joy, resonated through the halls. "Your feat is spoken of throughout the realms, a legend already being woven into the very fabric of our sagas." The other goddesses, their faces alight with admiration, gathered around, their eyes holding a reverence for her courage and ingenuity. Idun offered a basket of golden apples, their scent sweet and invigorating. Sif admired the strength in Gefjon's hands, still faintly smelling of earth. Gefjon, seated on a cushioned bench, shared tales of her journey, her voice clear and resonant. She spoke of the toil, the sheer, back-breaking effort of shaping the land, of the moments of doubt, and the unwavering resolve that saw her through. She described the profound transformation of her oxen, the moment they shed their animal forms to become the noble guardians of Sealand. She recounted the very birth of Sealand, the dramatic rising of the land from the tumultuous waters, the first breath of life it took, and she spoke with boundless pride of her sons, strong and true, their unwavering dedication to their new home. Her words, imbued with the raw emotion of creation, painted vivid pictures in the minds of her listeners. The goddesses listened, captivated, their expressions shifting from awe to wonder, to a quiet understanding. Frigga leaned closer, her expression one of deep affection and respect. "Your wisdom grows with each challenge you face, dear sister." She smiled warmly, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "You are a testament to the power of determination, to the boundless potential within us all." Gefjon felt a deep sense of belonging, a profound peace settling over her. Asgard was her home now, her place among the revered. Yet, a part of her, a deep and abiding connection, remained. It resided on Sealand, intertwined with the very soil, the whispering trees, and the beating hearts of her sons. She often visited the golden halls of Asgard, her presence a comforting anchor. She shared her insights, born of practical experience and raw creation. She offered her counsel, her words carrying the weight of both divine wisdom and earthly understanding. Her experiences on Sealand had profoundly shaped her wisdom, giving her a unique perspective on the delicate balance between chaos and order. She spoke of growth, not just of land, but of spirit. She spoke of change, the constant ebb and flow that defines all existence. And she spoke, with quiet conviction, of the enduring power of creation, the sacred act of bringing something new into being. But her heart, though content in Asgard, always yearned for Sealand. She would often gaze from Asgard's high walls, her keen eyes seeking the distant shimmer on the horizon. It was the vast expanse of Lake Meller, a silver disk reflecting the heavens, holding the memory of her toil. Beyond it, a faint green smudge against the blue, lay her island, a green jewel in the vast, shimmering sea, a constant pull on her spirit. Sometimes she would close her eyes and feel the cool, damp earth beneath her feet, hear the gentle gurgle of the rivers, and smell the sweet scent of pine, as if she were there herself. Her sons on Sealand thrived in their new existence. They lived in profound harmony with the land, their lives a living embodiment of balance. They learned its deepest secrets, not through study, but through intuition, through a silent communion. They understood its rhythms, the subtle shifts of the seasons, the ebb and flow of life and death. They spoke to the trees, not in words, but in the rustling of leaves, in the deep vibrations of their roots. They listened to the rivers, understanding the stories carried in their currents, the ancient memories of the earth. They danced with the wind, their movements mirroring its invisible currents, their spirits wild and free. Their presence brought a profound balance to the island, a vibrant equilibrium that hummed beneath the surface. The forests grew thick and lush, their canopies forming emerald cathedrals, sheltering countless creatures within their depths. The rivers flowed clear and strong, their waters teeming with life, reflecting the pristine sky. The creatures of the island prospered, sensing the benevolent guardianship of the suns. Deer grazed peacefully in sun-dappled meadows, their movements graceful and unhurried. Birds nested in ancient trees, their songs echoing through the quiet glades. Fish, their scales shimmering like scattered jewels, swam in the cool, crystal-clear waters of the lakes and streams. They built no grand palaces, no towering structures to proclaim their dominion. Their homes were simple, yet perfectly integrated with their surroundings. They were carved from the very earth, hollowed out of gentle slopes, their entrances blending seamlessly with the natural contours of the land. They were woven from the trees, their branches forming living roofs, their leaves providing dappled shade. They lived as part of nature, not separate from it. They were guardians, not rulers, their touch gentle, their spirit wild and untamed, mirroring the very essence of Sealand. Sometimes, a soft, ethereal light would descend upon the island, a shimmering aura visible only to those with open hearts. It was Gefjon's presence, a spectral visitation that brought with it a profound sense of peace. She would visit in spirit, unseen, but deeply felt, her essence interwoven with the very air. She would watch over them, her heart swelling with love as she witnessed their gentle stewardship. She would bless their endeavors, a silent, unseen warmth that encouraged growth and prosperity. Her love was a constant, gentle warmth, a silent song that resonated through the very fabric of the island, a spiritual umbilical cord connecting mother and sons across the realms. The island of Sealand became a haven, a whispered legend in the outer realms. Travelers who somehow stumbled upon its shores spoke of its unparalleled beauty, its untouched wilderness, its profound tranquility. They spoke of the quiet strength that radiated from its very core, a gentle power that soothed the soul. It was a place of deep, abiding peace, a sanctuary where the veil between worlds felt thinner, where the magic of creation lingered in the air like perfume. Lake Meller, too, held a special magic, its vastness a testament to the colossal effort that birthed it. Its waters reflected the sky with breathtaking clarity, mirroring the fleeting clouds, the soaring eagles, the very passage of time. They held the light of the moon, transforming into a sheet of hammered silver under its gaze, shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Sailors, if they dared to venture near, spoke of its calm, unfathomable depths, of its impossibly clear surface that revealed the ancient stones beneath. They spoke of its endless, mesmerizing beauty, a beauty that seemed to hold a secret, a quiet power. The story of Gefjon spread far and wide, carried on the winds, whispered from realm to realm. It was told by hearths in distant lands, a comforting tale for long winter nights. It was whispered on moonlit nights by bards and skalds, their voices weaving magic into the air. It became more than just a tale. It became a saga of power, a testament to the divine feminine. It became a tale of enduring love, a mother's profound devotion. It became, above all, a tale of creation, of the wondrous act of bringing life and form into being. It spoke of determination, a force as unyielding as the mountains themselves. Gefjon had faced a mighty challenge, a demand that seemed impossible. Yet, she had moved mountains, not literally, but with her will, with her strength, with the power of her spirit. She had shaped the very earth, carving valleys and raising islands. Her will had been unwavering, her spirit unyielding, a beacon of perseverance. She had shown what was possible when divine will met earthly grit, when a promise was made and kept, no matter the cost. It spoke of magic, not just of spells and incantations, but of the inherent magic of transformation. The oxen had been transformed, their beastly forms shed for human grace. The land had been birthed, a miracle of creation from nothingness. The ordinary had become extraordinary, imbued with a sacred essence. Magic, the story revealed, was not just in grand gestures, but in the very fabric of existence, in the quiet growth of a seed, in the gentle flow of a river, in the beating heart of creation itself. It spoke of enduring love, a bond that transcended realms and defied time. The bond between Gefjon and her sons, forged in the crucible of creation, was unbreakable. It stretched across time and space, a spiritual tether connecting them always. It was a mother's fierce devotion, a willingness to move the world for her children. It was a child's profound gratitude, a silent promise to honor the gift bestowed. It was a love that shaped worlds, a force capable of creating new lands, new lives, new destinies. And so the legacy lived on, not just in stories, but in the very landscape of the world. Lake Meller, vast and shimmering, a timeless expanse of water. Sealand, green and vibrant, a living testament to creation. They stood as eternal monuments, not of stone or metal, but of earth and water and spirit. They were reminders of Gefjon's strength, her unwavering resolve. They honored her son's sacrifice, their transformation, and their enduring guardianship. They spoke of a timeless truth, that love and determination can shape the very fabric of reality, creating beauty and life where none existed before. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in ever-deepening hues of fiery orange, regal purple, and soft rose, a quiet calm settled over Sealand, a gentle sigh of the land itself. The air grew cool, carrying the fresh scent of night-blooming flowers and damp earth. A soft breeze, like a whispered lullaby, rustled through the leaves of the ancient trees, their shadows lengthening into the twilight. The sounds of the day, the chirping of birds, the rustling of small creatures, faded into a profound and comforting silence. The sons of Gefjon sat by a clear, murmuring stream, its waters reflecting the fading light. They watched as the first stars began to appear, tiny pinpricks of light against the darkening canvas of the sky. Each star was a tiny beacon, a distant world, each holding a silent story of creation and existence. The water gurgled softly over smooth stones, a continuous, soothing melody, a lullaby for the land, a gentle heartbeat of the island. They felt their mother's presence, not as a physical touch, but as an undeniable warmth, a gentle embrace. It was in the cool, gentle breeze that caressed their faces. It was in the comforting scent of the pine trees, a familiar, grounding aroma. It was in the deep, tranquil peace of the silence that enveloped them, a silence that spoke volumes of love and belonging. Her love wrapped around them like a soft, invisible blanket, a comforting embrace that assured them they were never truly alone. The island settled into a deep, restorative sleep. The animals found their rest in their burrows and nests, their breathing soft and even. The trees stood as silent sentinels, their ancient branches reaching towards the starlit sky, guarding the slumbering land. The rivers flowed on, their whispers continuing through the night, carrying the dreams of the island to the sea. The world was at peace, a deep, settled into the very bones of the earth, a soft breath of contentment. The moon rose, full and bright, a luminous pearl in the velvet sky. Its silver light bathed Sealand, transforming the landscape into an ethereal wonderland. It cast long, soft shadows that danced with the gentle breeze, creating intricate patterns on the forest floor. The island glowed under its benevolent gaze, ethereal and otherworldly, a picture of serenity, a dream made perfectly real. This story, too, settles now, like the quiet of the night. It drifts into the gentle darkness, a whispered secret carried on the night air. It carries a gentle message, a truth passed down through generations, a message of courage, of daring to create, a message of love, boundless and enduring, a message of dreams, the power to make them real. Close your eyes now, little one. Feel the calm of the night, the soft embrace of sleep. Let the quiet stillness of the world outside embrace you, comforting and safe. Imagine the shimmering lake, vast and serene, reflecting the moon's silver glow. See the peaceful island, green and vibrant, cradled by the waters. Hear the soft, rustling leaves, a lullaby whispered by the wind. Let your own dreams take flight now, free and unburdened. They can be as vast as Lake Meller, holding endless. If these whispers brought you rest, you're welcome to subscribe for more calm tales. A gentle, like also guides fellow night owls here.